Hey everyone, thanks for coming back and listening to my channel. This is the channel where we review what breaking up is like, how to cope with it, how to move forward, how to choose healthier, and how to understand why you ended up in a possibly real toxic relationship and one that has sucked up so much of your time, your life, your energy, your resources. My gosh, breakups are so hard to deal with, but one thing that I suggest with this channel is if you are going through one, that you listen to an episode at least once a day and just work your way through them, and hopefully some of the content here will help you cope with what you're going through. And so one thing that I wanted to really emphasize is that in order for us to grow, to change, to really move forward from the repetition that we've had throughout the years, we really need to pause and we really need to be intentional about making that change. So it's not going to happen because you feel like it's going to happen. It's not going to happen because you're in a better mood one day. It's going to happen because you're being intentional and you are really focusing and you've actually acknowledged that you have a problem. And so really being aware of that is going to help to get you further along and choose healthier. And so what I wanted to focus on about today is mostly the realization that your relationship can really be causing issues with your child. You're probably in a relationship or breaking up or thinking about breaking up from this relationship, and you might have a child. And so think about all of the time that this relationship has distracted you from time with your child. This possibly could be a relationship where there's constant arguing, where there's so much back and forth that it really stops you from being consistent, from having a structured daily life and routine with your child. So things like taking care of homework, holding your child accountable to their chores, being there emotionally when they're struggling, even being able to pick up on that can become a challenge if you're so sucked into this type of a relationship that doesn't give you any space for your feelings, for your needs, so much less for your child's needs. And so take a pause and think about that right now. Maybe think about some of the times that you failed to be there for your child because you've just dedicated so much time to this relationship that is unhealthy, unbalanced, and definitely not helping you to care for your child like you should be caring for your child. The truth of the matter is, yes, children are resilient, but that will only happen if they can attach to an adult that is there for them consistently, and they can move forward at some point and receive the love and affection that they need. We all need that love and that affection. And so in order for them to feel safe, they need you there. And so I would say that if you are in the midst of a breakup, if you are in the midst of thinking about letting go of an emotionally abusive relationship, one that has no space for your child's emotion, one that has no space for your emotions, I would say that sitting down and really understanding how your child will benefit from this is key. It is so important to give your child the environment that they need so that they can grow and thrive. And if they're in a constant state of fight and flight because you're arguing all the time, that will slow down. That growth that you want to see, it'll slow down. It'll become stunted. Okay, because they're not able to regulate their emotions because you and your significant other aren't able to do it. So you're not able to model that for your child. And so your child is living in this dysregulated world where there's constant arguing, constant bickering. And so that leaves them in a state of anxiety and more prone to dealing with anxiety disorder as they get older. These are the kind of things we have to think about. And I know it's hard. I know it's hard because you're in love with this person. You've probably been in the relationship for many years. And you're asking yourself, how am I going to be able to let go of this relationship? Well, there needs to come a time where you sit down and you realize, hey, there are definitely more cons here than pros. And you need to ask yourself, am I placing my child first? Are they my priority, or am I too blinded by this person and constantly being distracted by this person and letting go of my child every day to face this person and to accommodate this person and to try to make them feel better and to try to figure out what's wrong with them? You have a little one that needs all of that. This older person that you are caring for and shifting everything in your life around to accommodate should be doing that themselves because they're adults. And so there's definitely something wrong with the dynamic if you find yourself constantly trying to make sure that they're happy, make sure that you're meeting their needs, make sure that they don't get irritated because you're expressing your need. You're tiptoeing around. And so if this feels so big for you, imagine how big this must feel for your child. Now, with all of that said, take in a deep inhale, slow exhale, and there's a lot to digest from what I said, and it's a harsh reality to have to face. But I think that when we face these truths, when we face the harsh reality of the struggles that we're in, and we accept that this is where we're at, then we can say, I'm ready to change. I know this isn't good. I know I don't feel good. I wake up every day wondering, when's the next fight going to happen? I wake up every day wondering, what's their mood going to be like? I wake up every day feeling like I'm not loved. I miss being loved. And so if that's where you're at, it's time to pause. And I know you're pausing because you're here, because you're listening to this. And so this is a pause, right? This is a pause. This is a space for you to really sit down and think and understand, hey, maybe somewhere down the line, down the very near future, I need to make some changes. And that's a good place to be in, recognizing that you have choices, you have options. Maybe you don't see all of them right now, but sitting down and really thinking about the relationship, asking yourself what are the pros and cons, realizing how damaging this type of toxic relationship can be to your child and is to your child, you're in a good space if you're doing that. So I encourage you to keep listening. I encourage you to keep thinking about how things must change, thinking about your child's needs, thinking about your needs and how there needs to be space in a relationship for everyone's needs. So I hope that this message reaches you, and I hope that you can learn something and that this can be helpful to you in determining how you're going to move forward with your relationship.